Fresh off Valentine's Day weekend, NBA All-Star weekend, and my birthday weekend, it is Monday, also known as President's Day, but better known as the first start of the week to a brand new slate of shows on the hottest form of Alabama football news, notes, and information. You have locked on to In My Own Words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And as always, we encourage you each and every time, each and every week, to drop that thumbs up, give a like on the show, and hit that subscribe button. That lets us know here at TDA to continue providing you, the fans, with the best news, notes, and information on your Crimson Tide football program. And it is because of you, the Tide fans, that we are over 8,000. That's right, over 8,000 subscribers strong on YouTube. So definitely continuing to encourage you to help grow, support the channel, network, and brand. Good, power-packful show on tonight. We'll start off with some updates in terms of Alabama men's basketball and give a little bit of a recap of what took place during NBA All-Star Weekend. From there, we'll dive into an update on one Charlie Strong. Is Alabama potentially creating an on-field role for him? We'll dive into Charlie Strong. From there, we will continue with Charlie Strong and talking about what type of impact can he bring? What type of impact will he bring to Alabama on defense? And from there, we'll dive into one Talia Tagovailoa. What will be his move? Does he stay at Alabama? Does he transfer out, hit that portal? What will be the move for the younger Tagovailoa on the roster, that being Taulia, as Tua is pursuing the NFL draft? But we start things out here recapping Alabama. Coach Nate Oates doing his thing. Crimson Tide getting an 88-82 win over number 25 ranked LSU, keeping its NCAA tournament hopes alive. But the game was about my son, my boy, Herbert Jones. What a performance he had. 6 points, 18 rebounds, 2 block shots, a steal, and made 2 clutch free throws from the foul line, as you're seeing this video on screen, with one hand. Left hand was in pain the entire game. He had a cast on his left hand, so with his right hand, his off hand, my boy Herbert Jones, country boy, he get it out the mud, went up into the foul line, charity stripe, making both free throws. Just that hard hat, that big-time clutch mentality of doing everything it could to win the basketball game. So big ups there to Herb Jones. I don't know if we have to have a Herbert Jones bobblehead day or what the Alabama program has to do, but that young man did a fantastic job. And along with Herbert Jones, how about a round of applause for head coach of Alabama football, Nick Saban, and his wife, Miss Terry. I mean, look at this. These two all out into the basketball game, or at least Miss Terry was. I mean, Nick was just sitting back in the cut going, baby, I know. It's basketball, I know. I see him. I mean, Miss Terry is the all-American mama here, going, look, baby, and she's out there cheering and screaming and celebrating, and Nick's just like, I see him. But big win there for Alabama men's basketball, 88-82. Huge victory over LSU, keeping the NCAA tournament hopes alive. But going from, I like the tribute to former Commissioner David Stern and the events that took place in the game itself. But my one gripe with NBA All-Star Weekend, that doggone dunk contest, man. Y'all knew what y'all did, TNT. Y'all knew Aaron Gordon deserved that, man. He dunks over 7'6" Taco Charlton, cleared the man and everything. Y'all knew Aaron Gordon deserved that, man. They gave the Derek Williams Jr. of the Miami Heat. The guy was good, but Aaron Gordon deserved that. I ain't gonna spend too much time into that. NBA, y'all know what y'all did. But diving into the first topic of conversation here, as we look at one Charlie Strong on screen right now, and Charlie Strong, who visited, he was offered a defensive analyst role at the University of Florida. I mentioned on last week, if Charlie Strong was satisfied with being an off-field guy, with being an analyst at Florida, then there would be no reason for him to make the trip to Tuscaloosa to visit with Nick Saban and the coaching staff. He made the trip, and there was a picture that was on social media of him in Tuscaloosa. And if you zero in on the picture, this was not just any average meeting, folks. This was a job interview. And if you look at the picture, he's wearing a very tasteful white dress shirt with a tie, a festive tie, some cufflinks, and some dress slacks there. If you look at the pants, if you zero in on the pants that Charlie Strong was wearing, those were black Dickie pants. I know black Dickies when I see them. I am a proprietor. I am a collector of Dickie pants, okay? You only wear Dickie pants for 2 will wear Dickie pants. A day and a job interview. And Charlie Strong was on a job interview. Had on them pressed iron Dickies, walked right in there to speak with Nick Saban, or Coach Saban, and the Crimson Tide. And a few days or so, or a couple of days after seeing Coach Strong on campus, there were a lot of rumors and things spouting off on social media about, is it true? Is Charlie Strong going to be at Alabama? Is he going to serve at the program? What's the information? What's the 411? What's the word on the street here when you talk Charlie Strong? Now, once again, from what I've been told from close, credible, respected people with tenure inside the program, is this right here. Despite the fact that there's nothing breaking, nothing has been signed, no deal has been done, Charlie Strong is expected to be a part of the program in some sort of capacity. The role for him has not been figured out just yet. Now, I've been hearing he could be a defensive analyst, but at the same time, I have also been hearing more so of the coaching staff of Coach Saban shuffling that coaching staff quite a bit to try to create an on-field role for Strong, and that on-field role would more than likely be a defensive coordinator, being the head guy or the primary guy, or possibly sharing that role with Pete Golding. Just seeing how Nick Saban likes Pete Golding. He respects Pete Golding. He sees value and potential in the 36-year-old in Golding. But at the same time, we all know Golding, a young guy. He has, prior to last year, he has never been on this big of a stage, on this magnitude of a platform, calling defenses when you talk Power 5, marquee school, and the mecca of college football, the University of Alabama. So despite the value and the potential that Golding has, Nick Saban looks at this as a situation to where we hammer this deal down. We as Alabama, we can hammer this deal down with the Charlie Strong. We can get him in here and have him groom, develop, mold Pete Golding in a way to where, he can be successful. And also over the weekend, while the masses of you, the Alabama fans, look at the situation and go, Nick Saban, bring him in here, hire Charlie Strong, yes, yes, yes. How can I replace my blood with this deal of bringing Charlie Strong in? The masses want Charlie Strong. The masses of you, the Crimson Tide fan, want Charlie Strong in this program, but there's always a few others, the small portion of people that look at what happened with Coach Strong in terms of his head coaching career, and they go, do not bring that man in here. That man will be the downfall of Alabama football. That will be the straw that breaks the backs of our defense. Do not bring Charlie Strong in here. And I'll say this, people at times get Charlie Strong, the head coach, and Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator, absolutely confused. Now, Charlie Strong did not destroy the Texas program. I'm going to tell you what destroyed the Texas program. What destroyed the Texas Longhorn program is when your boy Colt McCoy tried to be all gangster and run up on Marcel Darius. That destroyed the Texas program. It wasn't Charlie Strong. Colt McCoy trying to be all big time, run up on the 300-pound buzzsaw known as Marcel Darius in the 2010 BCS title game off the 09 season, and Marcel Pimp Juice wasn't having it. He sat there and popped Colt McCoy in the shoulder, and Colt was like, oh gosh, oh dear, I'm not in the Big 12. We playing against the SEC team, like for real. Like they about the smoke. They about that life. I'm Colt McCoy. I ain't trying to have no smoke. And Colt McCoy runs up on Marcel Darius and takes that hit and takes that haymaker to the shoulder. That is what doomed Texas football. Not Charlie Strong. Texas football was doomed from that moment. Charlie Strong was actually trying to help uplift Texas football when he came in there, and the boosters did not want any parts of Coach Strong from the get-go. They didn't want to help him. They didn't want to uplift him. They didn't want to lift him up. They did not want to support him by any sense of the imagination. And this was during the time where, if you remember, people, there were rumors going around that Texas actually thought they were going to get Nick Saban. You remember those rumors where people were reporting how his wife, Miss Terry, was in the Texas area looking for homes, and people were like, oh man, Miss Terry Saban looking for homes. You know, she wear the pants in that family, not Nick. So if Miss Terry looking for a home, if Miss Terry looking for a house, she gonna uproot the entire family, the whole family going to Texas. Nick Saban was never going to Texas, people. I know belt buckles are bigger in Texas. I know money is big and y'all didn't struggle and all this stuff. But Nick Saban was never going to Texas. It was never going to happen. And then on top of that, you had people that had their eggs in the Nick Saban basket, their eggs in the Les Miles basket, their eggs in the Ed Ogeron basket. Folks in Texas had their eggs in every basket known to mankind. So when they backed into Charlie Strong, quite naturally the boosters were upset. Nobody really gave much support to Coach Strong at all. So you cannot pin the Texas thing on him. South Florida, maybe you can pin that on him. It probably wasn't the biggest fit. I understand that one. You can't pin Texas on Charlie Strong. But Louisville? Louisville, Charlie Strong was the man. Charlie Strong was that dude. He had a great time at Louisville. Produced a couple of 10-win seasons. And even though he was primarily known as a defensive mind, what Charlie Strong did for Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy B, he put Bridgewater in the league. And Bridgewater is still in the league. And coming up in March here, he's got a chance to cash in a pretty big payday in terms of the free agency market. So people at times get Charlie Strong, the head coach, and Charlie Strong, the coordinator, mixed up. Charlie Strong, the head coach, had some success. Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator, that's a bad man. That's a bad dude. That is one of the most well-regarded defensive minds in college football in terms of his peers, well-respected, in terms of the players he's coached, well-respected, in terms of recruits he's been around, well-respected individual is Charlie Strong. And once again, from what I have been told right now, people are saying, analysts, people are saying, you know, it's being shuffled around for him to potentially be an on-field coach. There has not been any concrete thing yet, but he is expected to serve at the University of Alabama for the 2020 season in some type of capacity. And once a deal gets finalized, we will let you know right here on In My Own Words. But we're going to go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we go to your phone calls and comments right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back into the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday right here on In My Own Words, the podcast, hottest show on the streets, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And you know what time it is, people? Time to let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358, the number again, 205-448-1358. Let your voice be heard here on In My Own Words. You can also tweet the show at In My Own Words TDA. At In My Own Words TDA on Twitter. Now, if you want to tweet me directly, I'm at Coaching M Smith on Twitter. Once again, at Coaching M Smith on Twitter. We're going to go to the YouTube chat line for a moment here. We got Ronnie Jones writing in, Roll Tide. Roll Tide to you, Ronnie. Ronnie Jones starting us off there with a Roll Tide. We go to Striving to be set apart. Striving to be set apart writes in Rammer Jammer with an exclamation point. Appreciate striving to be set apart there. Ronnie Jones writes back in, you are my favorite spot for Alabama news and reports. Appreciate that, Ronnie Jones. Thank you. Giving a thumbs up to you right now. We do our best here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. John Williams writes in a Roll Tide. Roll Tide back at you, John Williams. We go down to Marcus Davis. Marcus Davis giving us an RTR, Roll Tide Roll, representing New Jersey. Jersey boy in the building, Marcus Davis. Appreciate you rocking and rolling with us. Ronnie Jones writes back in, Bama will be loaded for the 2020 season. I expect nothing less than Bama to be loaded. Mr. Ronnie, appreciate you. Sully462, this is Sully462 writes in, giving us an RTR, Roll Tide. Ronnie Jones again with, have you guys took a look at our new player named Drew Sanders? The guy's a beast. I have looked at Drew Sanders. 6'5", 230 out of Texas. Will be in that battle for outside linebacker. Sal Sinceri's licking his chops. He's got a ton, you hear me, a ton of talent to work with. And Drew Sanders, one of those talented young men. Frederick Turner giving us some hand claps here, JP. So appreciate that from Frederick Turner. Raekwon Debnam. Raekwon Debnam writes in, second time he got snubbed. Yes! Aaron Gordon, the second time my boy got snubbed in the dunk contest. And if I was him, I would not compete in that thing again. But that's Aaron Gordon. We'll see what he does. Let's see here. Marcus Davis, Taco Fall, LOL. Taco Charlton, 7'6", man. He dunked over Taco, man. Can we please give Aaron Gordon some love? He dunked over the guy. Taco Charlton, man. So, let's see here. Sean Dehaney writes in, Sean Dehaney, I'm ready for the season to start already. Sean, you're not the only one. I'm ready for the season to start. Every single Alabama fan is ready for the season to start. Willie351, bruh said Taco Charlton, LOL. It is Taco Fall? My bad. It is, I don't know where I get Charlton from. Well, Taco Fall. Yeah, correct. Thank you for correcting me. Steve, I'm just gonna call him Taco, man. My bad. Taco Fall, man. Thank you. Taco Fall. He still dunked over Taco. He still dunked over the man. Ronnie Jones, I'm ready for the season to start. I'm ready for the season to start too, bro. So everybody's ready for the season to start there. Keith Maddox goes, is there any info on the condition prognosis of the construction accident victims? Keith, not any info yet, but when we get some, we will gladly put that in there. But we're going to come back to the chat line right now. We got a call in the queue. You are live on a Monday on In My Own Words. What's on your mind? We'll come back there to that call line there. We'll continue with the comments. Sully 462 writing back in. Football season, postseason, and now we're in speculation season. Exactly. Football season, postseason, speculation season. In terms of coaches here. Marcus Davis, there was a major accident during the renovation. Okay. There was a major accident during the renovation of the stadium. I didn't get a chance to look at that, Marcus, but once I look at that and get an update on that, I will be able to provide some news and provide some thoughts on that. I didn't get a chance to see that, but thank you, Marcus, for bringing that to my attention there, being a major accident during the renovation of the stadium. Willie 351 puts in, I don't care what role he's in, Golding needs help. Willie 351 referring to Charlie Strong. We got Ronnie Jones popping back in here saying, I can't wait till the spring game. Want to take a look at Bryce Young. Everybody wants to take a look at that. But now it seems like we got the call in the queue. You're live here on In My Own Words, and I believe this is my man, Wayland. Wayland, what's going on?
What's happening on this Monday evening, Stephen?
Man, I cannot complain, man. How are you feeling?
Man, I couldn't be any better. I was trying to get a little info there. Are we going to get Charlie or are we not going to get Charlie? Is it we just juggling
right
and
now,
wait to see, or what do you think, my man?
Well, we're expected to get Charlie Wayland. The thing is, what role will he serve in? Because you have half the people screaming defensive analysts or off field, and the other half screaming, on field coach, coordinator, possibility right there. So he's expected to be on the staff. The thought is, can we get it hammered down what his role would be?
Exactly. Yeah, I missed the show there Friday, but well, we'll see. We don't know. We'll see how all this stuff pans out. I think having him and Freddie back and slipping Bo back in next year, it's going to be outstanding defense. There's no doubt about it. But going back to Friday, like I said, I missed the show, but we'll leave it with this. Everybody on the Touchdown Magazine podcast listening, roses are red, violets are blue. You listen to Touchdown Magazine. Stephen M. loves you. Catch you later, baby.
Appreciate it, Wayland. Wayland, drop us a poem in here. We got copyright that. Appreciate Wayland showing the love in here. But we got another caller in the queue. You're live on a Monday with your man, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen, how you doing, man? This is Sean calling you from Madison, Alabama. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain, man. How you doing?
Doing well. I wanted to run a quick question by you, man. I coach football up here, man. I was trying to I see Bama's defense and the 3-4 scheme that they run, which is really they run a basic 3-4 that they turn into a 4-3 when you take off the linebackers and add another D lineman. I saw DJ Dale up close and personal, man, and I think dude is really, really good with leverage. He's very, very good with his hands. I don't think he's no type of pass rushing type defensive tackle, but I'm gonna tell you a kid I saw in person that I think all the Bama fans need to be aware of. This Tim Smith kid. I think his name is Tim Smith.
Yeah.
This kid, man, listen. For what Bama does, this kid is a monster, man. I'm telling you, I saw him up close and personal. DJ was a young guy. He got a lot of experience. He did really well. But this Smith kid is on a whole nother planet, and I really, really believe he's gonna be in the rotation early. So just keep your eyes open for Tim Smith, and I want to get your thoughts on him. And I'll hang up and listen.
Well, Sean, I like Tim. Love Tim Smith out of Florida. All three guys that Bama got on the defensive line, defensive tackle in this class are all good. But that Tim Smith kid is going to be something to watch. And spring ball, I'm ready for spring ball to get in here. But appreciate the call, man.
No problem, man. Take care. I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We will continue to support.
Appreciate that coming in from Sean on Tim Smith, one of the recruits or one of these signees for the 2020 class. But it seems like we got another caller in the queue right now. You're live on In My Own Words. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Steven? Love the show, man. The question I want to ask you is, how do you think Charlie Strong will stack up against some of Nick Saban's other former defensive coordinators? Like, what do you think is the pecking order currently, and how do you think he would kind of fit in?
I think Charlie Strong would fit well in it. I mean, right now, you would have to put Kirby up there first because he spent the longest with Kirby. I really like what Pruitt did, so Pruitt would be second. But I think Charlie Strong would have the chance to surpass Pruitt. We'll see what happens, but right now, we're going to go to our next break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, folks, we'll dive into what impact could Charlie Strong have on the program if he's to be brought in. Don't touch that dial, folks. We'll be right back.
If you want delicious home-style cooking, sushi, and hibachi, check out Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. At home and you can't get away from the TV because the Crimson Tide is about to score? Don't worry, delivery is also available through Waitr and Crimson2go. That's Otoro Hibachi in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And make sure you let them know the good folks at Touchdown Alabama sent you. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back in from the break, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday, hottest form of Crimson Tide news, notes, and information you're going to find anywhere. In My Own Words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And we continue with Charlie Strong in terms of what impact can he make? What impact could he bring to this Alabama defense? And Charlie Strong, to me, could bring a really massive impact when you look at the pieces are already there, right? When you discuss LeBron Ray, Christian Barmore, DJ Dale, Fidarian Mathis, just a host of players on the defensive line, those guys are hungry. They want to get back to being fierce. They want to get back to being dominant. They want to get back to being well-respected among college football. And then at the linebacker positions, you have a Dylan Moses, a Joshua McMillan, a Christian Harris, a Shane Lee, a Chris Allen, even a Ben Davis in there, a number of also freshmen and other players that want to get back to being monsters in college football. But of course, the secondary, though Patrick Surtain is the only guy with big experience, you have a lot of depth in that positional room. So with the talent there, with the experience there, with the pieces in play, Charlie Strong would have a huge impact just due to his wisdom, his knowledge of the game. And just going back to something that I've heard throughout the weekend or over the weekend, a lot of people have the feeling that, well, Charlie Strong has not coached a defense or has not strategically or specifically been a coordinator, a defensive coordinator in this decade. And with the new aged offenses that are popping up in college football and these teams are able to score at will, gone are the days of defenses being able to shut out teams. You're not going to be able to do that. Well, try telling that to Ohio State. I mean, Chase Young and the Buckeyes pitched quite a few shutouts this season. Try telling that to Clemson and Brent Venables. I mean, Clemson and that defense pitched a couple of shutouts this past season under Brent Venables. I mean, try telling that to Georgia and Kirby Smart. I mean, yes, they got ran over like a motherless child in a Mack truck driving down the highway by LSU. That was because the offense was pretty basic there with Jake Fromm, but defensively, Georgia had a pretty stout defense. So being able to still dominate opposing offenses, keep them off the scoreboard, that still can be done. That still can be brought into play. It comes down to having the right coach in the room, coming down to having the right coach on the field. And you get a guy like a Charlie Strong, you get his wisdom, you mix a little old school with a little new school, have these guys bounce ideas off each other, you're bound to have something. Because If I know one thing that this Alabama fan base wants to get back to, is having a defense that is feared in college football, that is feared, that is respected, that the moment that opposition comes off the bus, they're going, what have we just entered? Because they know they are going to get the business playing against Alabama. And of the plethora of Crimson Tide fans I've spoken with in my passing, especially the last 2 years, the theme has been, Stephen, Bama's not feared anymore. Like, where's the fear? We used to put fear in the teams. We used to have teams scared. We used to have teams timid. Like, there's no fear. Guys aren't fearing Bama anymore. When can we get back to that point to where we mean business, we handle business, and teams are not wanting to play this Crimson Tide defense? Part of getting back to that feared mentality is having a coach in the room that can not only identify with the players, but having a coach in the room that has that experience of running the defense, having that experience of knowing when to substitute properly, having that experience of when do I blitz, when do I time the blitz, when do I just sit back and play coverage, understanding situational football, basically. Having that coach that understands situational football and putting each respective player in a spot, in a position, in an area to have maximum success. And going back to look at Charlie Strong, when he was at Florida as the defensive coordinator, he put guys like Brandon Spikes. He put guys like Dante Fowler Jr. He put guys like Carlos Dunlap. He put guys like Major Wright and Joe Hayden, and just a mixture, just a number of countless talents in position to have success on the field, be dominant on the field, make big-time plays on the field, but most importantly, get drafted, go to the NFL, have a high draft stock. So you have a guy in Charlie with this defense, he would make a huge impact, especially if whether he is either or with inside linebackers or defensive backs. And that's the intriguing part as well. If Charlie Strong is brought in here to have that co-DC tag with Pete Golding. Let's say he's brought in here to have the co-DC tag with Pete Golding. If he's brought in to be the inside, to help out with inside linebackers as well, then you're putting a Dylan Moses, a Joshua McMillan, a Shane Lee, Christian Harris, Alakaho, Demoy Kennedy, Jackson Bratt, and that whole room to learn from a Charlie Strong on how to be a captain on the field, a captain on defense, a quarterback on that side of the football, seeing the field, making the calls, dissecting plays, see the play, read the play, attack the play. If you put Charlie Strong with the defensive backfield, seeing how Strong was a DB in college, now you get him with a Patrick Surtain, a Daniel Wright, a Josh Jobe, a Jagan Armour-Davis, and all these defensive backs, and they have a chance to play the ball in the air, be in perfect phase in the hip pocket of the opposing wide receiver, having that head turned around, not getting called, not getting flagged for defensive holding or pass interference, and being able to wrap up and appropriately make tackles. So if you get him with inside linebackers, that's a plus. Even if you get him in the defensive secondary, that's a plus. And I go back to something that Coach Saban has done in the past. A lot of his guys, whether it was Kirby Smart or Jeremy Pruitt, both of those two came from a defensive back, came from a secondary background. They came from a secondary background. They come to Alabama. They operate as defensive coordinators, and they operate as inside linebacker coaches as well. But with Charlie Strong, you can have him as either an inside linebackers coach or a defensive backs coach. So the biggest thing is just getting the man in here. That's the biggest thing. Getting him in here, hammering down the deal, because he is somebody that can help a Pete Golding, but not just that. He is also somebody, as I mentioned before, that can help a Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach, a young coach on the rise. Freddie Roach, somebody of whom people have a ton of respect for. Peers have respect for him. Players have respect for him. Recruits have respect for him. And a guy that is mannerism-wise, attention to detail-wise, personality-wise, is in the same boat. He's a younger version of Charlie Strong. So if you just did not feel 100% comfortable moving forward for years to come with Pete running that defense, then you look at, okay, Charlie, we brought you in here to help Pete. We may not feel like Pete is the guy we think he could be, but we have a Freddie Roach right here who's could be the younger version of you. You can help out a Freddie Roach. You can mentor Freddie Roach. You can develop, you can groom a Coach Roach to where at some point he could be a defensive coordinator. So I think he brings a big impact. I think Charlie Strong brings a massive impact. And once again, people kind of confuse him being the defensive coordinator to him being the head coach. Some people were meant to be schemers, planners, strategists. Charlie Strong meant to be that schemer, planner, strategist in terms of the defensive side of the football. And I think getting him in here as a coordinator, at least for 3 years. If he can do more than 3, blessing. If he can do more than 3, big time. If he can do more than 3, important, because I'm kind of getting the feeling that Coach Saban is tired of bringing in a lot of veteran names that on the surface it appears as though they'll be there for a long time, they'll coach for a long time, they'll stick around for a long time, and then the next move or the next coaching opening makes itself available, and those coaches jump off the ship and they go to the next available job, the next available spot, and Coach Saban's looking like, well, what are you doing? We thought you were going to be here. We thought you were going to hang around here for the long haul, for the betterment, as I should say, of what we're trying to do here in this program. So you land Charlie Strong here for at least a 3-year period. You got something here. But just in my honest and complete opinion, what impact do I think Charlie Strong could bring on the program? I think it's a solid impact. He would be huge defensive line. He would be huge linebackers. He would be huge secondary. At the end of the day, I know you look at the injuries that Alabama had last year. The injuries were difficult. The injuries were terrible. You're playing, 8 to 9 freshmen, 2 of those in the middle of your defense at linebacker, a couple of those in the defensive line, Byron Young, Justin Aboigbe, DJ Dale, few of those guys in the secondary, including one Jordan Battle. But for Tide fans and for quite a few of you guys, it doesn't matter with the injuries. When you go from week 1 to the final week of the season, there's got to be some consistent improvement throughout the entire defense, not just 1 or 2 guys. Consistent improvement throughout the entire range of spectrum here. And because there was not consistent improvement throughout the entire range of spectrum, we got to have somebody come in here and improve it and get it better and get this defense back to where it was in 2015, in 2016, in 2017, and in years prior, to where Bama fans were boastful of the defense, were happy about the defense, were wagering money on the defense. They were calling in the radio shows, kind of like this one, and would be like, man, this defense, bruh, they can't stop this defense. Bet you can't score on my defense. Yeah, my offense may not be moving the ball. Yeah, my kicker may miss every single field goal known to mankind, including the extra points. But you can't score on our defense now. Our defense with all the smoke now. You can't move it on this D. This D is doing it dirty. You can't move on this D. That's what Alabama wants to get back to being able to brag, boast, showboat, call every single phone line known to mankind and talk about this defense. And I believe Charlie Strong, with his experience, with his moxie, with his MO as a play caller, will be able to get that done. But we're going to go to another break here on In My Own Words, the podcast. Don't touch that dial. Still getting you warmed up here. Upon our return, we jump back into the phone lines, taking your questions, calls, thoughts, and concerns. Folks, we'll be back right after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back in from the break, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday evening. In My Own Words, the podcast, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, hottest show in the streets. And as always, it's your time, people. 205-448-1358, 205-448-1358 to call in and let your voice be heard on the show. We got a call in the queue right now that we're going to take. You are live on In My Own Words, the podcast with your man, Stephen M. Smith. What's on your mind?
I think Charlie Strong is going to be the Alabama next defensive coordinator, and that will be strong for Alabama. We need another championship.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy at Florida, we saw his work. 2 national championships. We saw his work. A tremendous schemer, tremendous strategizer, and whether he's also working with inside linebackers or defensive backs, Bama just needs a Bama just needs a calming phase on this defense that knows exactly what it's doing. And I'm not saying that Pete Golding doesn't have value. He does, but Charlie Strong would kind of represent that calming face of guys, I know what I'm doing, jump on my back, I'm going to take you to the promised land.
Yes, and I think Alabama, Alabama always have been defense, known for defense, and when Charlie Strong come in, that'll put Alabama back on the map.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. I look at the defense. If you land Charlie Strong in here with the pieces that Alabama will have around him, he's got a chance to do something very special with this group. Now, could he end up possibly being better than a Kirby Smart or Jeremy Pruitt? Remains to be seen. But I like where Alabama's headed, especially if they could hammer down a contract for Strong. But appreciate the call, man. Keep rocking with us.
Oh, roll Tide.
Appreciate that call there coming in. But we're going to go to the chat line right now and got some things coming in here. Tide fan writes in, "We want Charlie. Roll Tide." So Tide fan making it known he wants Charlie Strong in here. Chris Songo hops in, repping 334 Dothan, Alabama. Appreciate you, Chris Songo, for being a part of the show. We got Jawan Doucette with a couple of laughing faces here. Jawan Doucette. Rashard Bourne with a sub. Stephen, what's going on with you, Rashard Bourne? Happy to have you on the line right now. We have another one writing in, RMF Tide. RMF Tide writes in, Strong would be a great addition. Time for the defense to experience something that it needs after the last year's debacle. So I guess RMF Tide just writing in, Strong being a great addition, and it's time for Alabama to experience a leadership guy in that spot, calling the defense, that being one Charlie Strong. Frederick Turner writing in, tuning in from Louisville, Kentucky, by the way of Tuscaloosa. What's up? Roll Tide. Appreciate you tuning in, Frederick Turner. We go back to RMF Tide, who writes in, Texas thought they were getting Saban. They were. Texas thought they were getting Nick Saban. Before we go back to the comment line here, got another call in the queue. You are live on In My Own Words. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Man, I cannot complain. Man, I am doing great. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm excellent, boy. Well, I'm excited for this next season coming up. Sitting here listening to you on YouTube, and just want to throw my small little input. I believe what's been hurting the Tide the last couple of years is coaching continuity. Like you mentioned, a couple of big name guys coming there and leave. Coaching job come open. Using Alabama as a lead board to their head coaching position. I believe they've been a little bit too unfair to Coach Saban for giving them opportunity. But hey, I trust that Coach Saban gonna get it back on track, build coaching continuity, and I wish everybody. This is my last thought. I wish everybody just give Pete a chance, and he gonna once he learn how to properly run a defense, we'll be back on track.
Appreciate the call, man. Keep rocking with us.
All righty.
I agree. I mean, I've said this before. Pete's got value. Pete Golding has value. It's just he's young. He's young. He's 36 years old. He's never, prior to last year, he's never been the head primary coordinator, the head primary play caller in a major Division I Power 5 school. So I would only imagine the pressure, the nerves he was under, and especially him entering a situation where you didn't have two of your leadership linebackers. You lose LeBron Ray 3 games into the year to an injury, and then, my goodness, bang, DJ Dale goes down during the season. So it was tough on Pete. I'm not saying Pete can't call a defense or put something together. He can. He just needs some nurturing. He just needs some guidance. But going back to, they have a chat line here. Yeah, RMF Tide, who wrote in, Texas thought they were getting saved, and they did. Texas had all their eggs in completely different baskets, but could not get Nick Saban. But we got another call coming into the queue. You're live on In My Own Words. What's on your mind tonight? Live on In My Own Words, caller. What's on your mind? We got another call coming in. You're live on In My Own Words. What's on your mind?
Hey, Stephen. How you doing? This is Marty. I was calling. I wanted to know if you had seen some of the people that were talking on social media about whether if Coach McCoy had not got hurt in that 2009 national championship game, would Texas would have beat Alabama. That's what someone talking about. I want to get your thoughts on that, and loving the show, and wrote that.
Marty, appreciate the call. I still do not think Texas would have won that game. Even with Colt McCoy healthy, I still don't think Texas would have won that game. I still don't think so. Yes, Colt McCoy on the first drive, he got him down inside the red zone, and then he tries to do the zone read up the middle before he gets popped by Marcel Darius. Even with that healthy Colt McCoy, they still wouldn't have won, just due to Alabama at that point in time was tired of being mediocre, was tired of being a laughingstock, was tired of not winning championships. And then you had, of the Schuler recruits that came in, you had 13 of those guys that said, you know what? If Nick Saban's the guy, we're going to buy into him, and we're going to see where this goes. Even if Colt would have played, I still do not think they win a national championship. That's just me being honest. I still don't think Texas beats Alabama in that matchup. But getting back to the chat line here before I work myself up, we're gonna go to Ronnie Jones here. Ronnie writes in, "What's up, Frederick Road Tide?" I guess he's going, congratulating Frederick Turner for coming to the chat line. James Kemp writes in, "That's right, Stephen." Going back to, I guess I was mentioning how Texas was never going to get Nick Saban, so James Kemp writes in, "That's right, Stephen." He comes back with a Roll Tide. We have here Frederick Turner. Charlie Strong will turn the tide. Like Charlie Strong, think he's a big addition if you get this man in here. Lee Alex writes in, "Good job, Roll Tide." Appreciate that from Lee Alex writing in. Tom Collier writes in, "RTR, make the defense great again." Saying that in terms of Charlie Strong, if you get him in here, make this Alabama defense great again. This comes from Tom Collier. The BG29ST, the BG29ST writes in, have you heard about Hugh Freeze to Alabama if Sarkisian leaves? This is the third time I've heard this conversation on the possibility of Hugh Freeze. I'll say this. If I'm Sark, why in the world would you leave Alabama right now? Why? You went out there and you got Bryce Young. You've been knowing Bryce Young since the young man was in the 8th grade. You've developed a relationship with Bryce Young and his family. His family, mom and pops, are expecting you to stay in Alabama throughout the process of Bryce Young's career. On top of this, Steve Sarkisian, look at your quarterback room, son. You got Mac, Bryce, Paul, Tyson, and Taulia, if Taulia chooses to stay, which we'll get to that in a moment. And then you got Najee Harris and the running backs. You got all the receivers. Sarkisian, you are playing with house money at the Playboy Mansion, and you Hugh Hefner. Why would you sit there and leave the University of Alabama to go to Colorado, in which we don't even know who was on Colorado staff? I can't even name one Colorado player. Wait, yes, I can. Antonio Alfano, and his butt should have stayed in Alabama. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're going to go to a break right now on In My Own Words. When we get back, we will dive into Talia Tagovailoa. Don't touch that down, folks. We're coming back.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Before we jump back into the conversation, just want to send our prayers out to NASCAR driver Ryan Newman, who was involved in a bad crash at the Daytona 500. That is NASCAR driver Ryan Newman. Our prayers, our thoughts of good wishes, speedy recovery, good health to him on this evening, that being Ryan Newman of the Daytona 500 in NASCAR. Prayers out to him. As we now jump back into the conversation here on In My Own Words, the podcast, hottest show on the streets, best form of Crimson Tide football news, notes, and information. We look at one Talia Tagovailoa, the younger brother of Tua Tagovailoa, at quarterback for the University of Alabama. And what's crazy, people, is what a difference one recruiting class makes. What a difference one class makes. This time around, a year ago in 2019, the conversation was Alabama, Nick Saban has locked up the quarterback situation or the quarterback room for the next 6 to 8 years. Not only do we have Tua, but my goodness, we got his brother. We got Leah too. I mean, do you see how special Tua is? Did you witness how great Tua is? Did you guys see, 2nd and 26, the greatest thing since Derek Thomas? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see the records that Tua set? The records that Tua was able to break? How powerful this offense was with Tua? And now you're bringing Leah, the right-handed version of his brother? I mean, goodness, we're going to lock up quarterbacks for years to come. Leah's just as good as Tua is. Could you imagine how dynamic he's going to be as he learns the offense? I mean, people, Paul Tyson is the great-grandson of the individual that built this program, that being Paul Bear Bryant. And Paul Tyson felt like the stepchild. When Talia came in here, Paul Tyson felt like chopped liver. He felt like the abandoned stepchild on Christmas Day. I mean, that's how Paul Tyson felt like. And because the conversation 2019 was Talia. Leah got all the praise. He got all the swag. He got all the sauce. He got all the clout. He got all the juice. He got all of the press clippings throughout the entire 2019. And it's incredible how one recruiting class later, here comes Bryce Young, and a complete paradigm shift has taken place as people are now gaga over Bryce Young, to where Talia feels the same way Paul Tyson feels. Talia feels like the stepchild in a sense of now people are going, well, Tua, Talia, you may be Tua's brother, but this Bryce Young kid, this is the second coming of your brother. Talia, you're not your brother. This Bryce Young kid is the second coming of your brother. And now you've got people that have gotten bold with it to think Bryce Young may be better than Tua. You got some folks that have come out saying Bryce Young is extraterrestrial good. He might be even better than what Tua is. So it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy what one recruiting class will do. And I, for one, I'm in this boat right here. Tua had it way better than Talia in the sense of with Tua, he came in and loved Jalen Hurts, respect Jalen Hurts, will always value Jalen Hurts. I was the one, 2016, before the season even started, folks, that broke the story for Touchdown Alabama magazine on Jalen Hurts being the guy, and your boy got beaten to death like a Mexican piñata with no candy in that sucker. Got beaten to death. But you know what happened? Ended up being right. Jalen Hurts ended up being the guy. But when the athletic ability of Jalen Hurts topped out, and he was never really taught how to be a conceptual quarterback, because playing quarterback is based on concepts. And then also at that time, Mac Jones was kind of considered an afterthought. People were crying for Tua. They were crying for him. They were pushing for him up. And it got to the championship game, and Nick Saban was like, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice, put Tua in there against Georgia. And you saw what happened. 2nd and 26 happened. In terms of Talia, you're dealing with a Mac Jones that is no longer an afterthought, baby. This man is the real deal. Mac Jizzle, the Joker, Mac 10, can slang that thing. Coming into his 4th year in the system, high with confidence, the team's behind him, the coaching staff's behind him. He had 2 300-yard games a season ago. He's had games where he's had touchdown performances. So you got this joker, but on top of that, here comes a Bryce Young that has taken all the swag away from Talia in terms of the conversation. You got to compete with both of these cats. The question for Leah is going to be, what do I do? Do I stay at Alabama? Do I hit the transfer portal? There are rumors going about that he could hit the portal. Now, none of this has been confirmed. Now, knowing the type of guy that Talia is, Leah will battle throughout the spring. He'll go to the A-Day game, and then once things are set in stone after the A-Day game, he makes his move. But if I was Leah, that song that was written by I Heart Memphis called Hit the Quad, I got the remix, hit the portal, baby. I'd be hitting that portal. I would be hitting that portal after the A-Day game, especially if it's a situation where you know for a fact you're not going to be the guy. So Leah is up against a rock and a hard place, but we're going to take our final break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, we will continue this conversation and wrap it up after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month, or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Folks, it will be interesting as we are back from the break, showing in my own words, the podcast, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. It will be interesting to see what Talia Tagovailoa does. Does he stay with Alabama? Does he pursue the does he pursue the transfer portal in terms of heading elsewhere? There's just a lot of friction here when you look at this quarterback race in terms of Talia, just due to when the Tagovailoa family came, right? When they came in from Hawaii, they came with one goal in mind, right? The goal they had, both of our sons are going to be starting quarterbacks at the University of Alabama. That was the goal. And while they were able to get that done with Tua, the arrival of Bryce Young and the emergence of Mac Jones has thrown a huge monkey wrench into part 2 of the plan, and that part 2 being Talia being a starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide. The young man has talent. The young man has potential. It's just tough for him right now because you would have to beat out Bryce and Mac to be the starter, and I don't see that happening. And then you would have to beat out Bryce to at least be the primary number 2 backup quarterback. And I don't see that happening. And even if he was to somehow, by some spectrum of the imagination, become the number 2 quarterback, I don't think the Tagovailoas will be satisfied with that. Because to them, it's starter or nothing. It's almost like that P. Diddy vote or die campaign. Remember that? When P. Diddy said vote or die? It's kind of like that. For the Tagovailoa family, it's like either you are the starter, Talia, or we're out the door. And with a lot of that family, they move in the formation of the father, the patriarch, Nalu. If Nalu Tagovailoa says, look, son, we like Alabama, we appreciate Alabama, but if you're not the starting quarterback, son, we're going to head elsewhere, that family moves to the motion, to the beat of the father, of the patriarch, Nalu Tagovailoa. So it's going to be interesting to see how this falls because I like Leah. I love the fire that Leah can show, but with Mac Jones, who's playing with a full chip on his shoulder because people doubt him, a lot of people don't believe in him, a lot of people don't trust he can lead this team to a national championship, and Mac Jones is taking all of this fuel to put himself in a situation to where he can answer all the critics. So when you got Mac Jones trying to answer all the critics, and when you've got the same people that were gaga over Tua going gaga over Bryce Young. I mean, people remember when Trent Dilfer, former Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, Trent Dilfer, who is the founder of the Elite 11, came out and said Tua Tagovailoa is like ice cream on crack. Y'all remember that? And everybody was like, nah, man, that's just Dilfer spouting off. That's just Dilfer on his brand. That's just Dilfer ranting. Ain't no way Tua's that good. Don't trust Dilfer. No way. And then Tua goes out there in the national championship game and games prior to that and does what he does, and everybody's knocking over the TV. Get Trent Dilfer on the phone pronto. I don't care who our guest list is. That number 1 guest better be Trent Dilfer because he was aligned. Tua is ice cream on crack. He is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Can we please get Trent Dilfer on the phone? 1-800-DILFER. I don't care what we got to do. Get Trent on the phone. He was right. The same people that were going icky baluki, if I can use that phrase, the same people that were going icky baluki over Tua Tagovailoa, the exact same people are going icky baluki over Bryce Young. So when you have that, this is a tough conundrum for Talia Tagovailoa. Does he stay at Alabama? Does he choose to leave the program? We'll see what happens. To me, if I was Leah, I'd be hitting that portal. I'd be doing that hit the Quan dance, but my remix to it, hit the portal, because I don't see him beating out either Bryce Young or Mac Jones, but will be interesting to have spring ball rolls in here. But folks, As always, you want the best in Crimson Tide football information when you talk In My Own Words, the podcast, or even Touchdown Alabama Magazine. You know what to do. You download the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You be the smart fan. You be the envy of your friends. And you can get this app by downloading it from your iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. If your podcast options just so happen to be iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast.fm, TuneIn Radio, or iHeartRadio, we got you covered. If the good Lord sees fit, I shall return on Wednesday to talk more Crimson Tide football. But as always, I leave you with this. You know what it is, husbands. Love them wives, wives. Kiss them husbands. Children, get that homework done. It is a school night. Get those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 hearty laughs a day. Until next time, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. Peace. You've been rocking within my own words.